Weeks passed, and Tolu became part of Mr. Thompson's household. He was no longer the shy boy who tiptoed around the big house, afraid to touch anything. Now he moved with quiet confidence, always ready to help. The staff loved him because he was polite and humble. "Good morning, Ma," he greeted every day as he entered the kitchen to assist Mrs. Grace. "Good morning, Tolu," she replied warmly. "You are early as always. One day you'll be a great man." He smiled shyly. "By God's grace, Ma." Every morning before sunrise, he would sweep the compound, wipe the sitting room tables, and water the flowers. When he finished, he would take a little time to read in the study, just like Mr. Thompson advised. The books were big, some full of difficult words, but he didn't give up. Sometimes Mrs. Grace found him moving his lips as he read. "Ambition," he said aloud one morning, sounding it out slowly. "Ambition means a strong desire to achieve something." She smiled. "You are learning fast, Tolu. That's good." Every week Mr. Thompson would ask about his father and the shop. "How is business?" he asked one evening as Tolu served him a cup of tea. "Better, sir," Tolu answered with a bright smile. "My father said thank you. He said to tell you that God will bless you." Mr. Thompson nodded. "Tell him I said he should never give up. Hard work builds dignity." But not everyone in the house liked Tolu's closeness with Mr. Thompson. One man named Julius, the gardener, was jealous. He had worked there for 2 years, but had never received personal praise from the boss. He did not like how Tolu got Mr. Thompson's attention so easily. One afternoon, as Tolu was washing the flower vases near the garden, Julius walked up to him with a smirk. "So you think you're special, eh?" he said, leaning on his rake. Tolu looked up, confused. "Sir?" "You heard me," Julius said sharply. "Just because the boss talks to you, you think you're better than the rest of us." Tolu shook his head quickly. "No, sir, I don't think that. I only do what I'm asked to do." Julius snorted. You will learn. Let's see how long you last here." Tolu didn't reply. He simply continued working. Deep down, he remembered his father's advice. Don't argue with people who want to pull you down. Keep your heart clean. Days later, Mr. Thompson received an invitation to travel for 2 weeks for a business conference in Abuja. Before leaving, he called Tolu and Mrs. Grace to his office. "Grace," he said, "I'll be gone for a while. You'll take care of the house as usual, and Tolu—" He paused and smiled. "I trust you. Continue your duties faithfully. Remember, true character shows when no one is watching." Tolu nodded seriously. "Yes, sir." After Mr. Thompson left, things in the house changed a little. The other workers began to relax, talking loudly and leaving their work undone. But not Tolu. He cleaned, watered, and arranged things exactly the same way he did when the boss was around. One evening, while sweeping the sitting room, he noticed Julius sneaking into the pantry, the small store where food and some expensive items were kept. Julius came out a few minutes later, carrying something wrapped in black nylon. Tolu blinked. "Sir Julius, what's that?" he asked innocently. Julius turned sharply, startled. "It's none of your business, boy." "But you're not supposed to take things from the pantry without telling Mrs. Grace." Julius's face hardened. "Keep quiet if you know what's good for you," he hissed. "If you talk, I'll make sure the boss sends you away." Tolu froze. He didn't know what to do. Should he tell Mrs. Grace? What if Julius was right? What if the others turned against him? He went to bed that night unable to sleep. The next day, Mrs. Grace discovered that 2 packs of imported coffee were missing. She was upset. "Who took it?" she demanded. No one spoke. Julius stood in the corner pretending to sweep. Tolu bit his lip. His heart raced. Then he raised his hand slowly. "Ma, I saw Julius last night," he said quietly. "He came out of the pantry with something wrapped in black nylon." Julius dropped his broom. "You lying boy. You want to spoil my name?" Mrs. Grace turned sharply. "Enough, Julius, bring the bag you carried yesterday." The man hesitated, then finally went to his small cupboard. He returned with the black nylon. Inside were the missing coffee packs. The room went silent. Julius looked down, ashamed. Mrs. Grace sighed. "Tolu, thank you for being honest. Julius, you have disappointed the boss. You'll explain yourself when he returns." That night, as Tolu sat outside in the cool air, he looked up at the stars. He didn't feel proud, only grateful that he had done the right thing. When Mr. Thompson came back 2 weeks later, he called everyone to the living room. I heard what happened, he said, looking at Julius, who stood with his head down. Tolu told the truth even when it was hard. That is what makes a man trustworthy. He turned to the boy. Tolu, I am proud of you. From today, you'll assist me directly in the study every weekend. You'll learn things about business, about life, about leadership. Tolu's eyes widened. Thank you, sir. Mr. Thompson smiled. You earned it. And remember what I always say, integrity is more valuable than money. As the others clapped, Julius looked down, ashamed. He mumbled, I'm sorry, Tolu. Tolu smiled kindly. It's okay, sir. Everyone makes mistakes. That evening, when he returned home, he told his father everything. Mr. Adewale listened, eyes full of pride. My son, he said softly, you are growing into a good man. Never let the world change your heart. Always choose what is right, even when it is not easy. Tolu nodded, tears in his eyes. Yes, Daddy. That night, he sat on the mat beside his father, holding the envelope of his second salary. Soon, he whispered, we will have our own shop again, bigger and better. His father smiled faintly. With God's help, yes. And as the wind blew softly through the window, the boy closed his eyes, dreaming of a future filled with hope, one where hard work, truth, and kindness could build miracles. Months passed like pages in a book. Every sunrise brought new lessons, new experiences, and new blessings into Tolu's life. He had become like a son to Mr. Thompson. Every weekend, the billionaire would sit him down in the study, teaching him things he had never learned before. They talked about life, money, honesty, and leadership. Tolu, Mr. Thompson said one Saturday afternoon as they sat by the window overlooking the garden, wealth is not the amount of money you have. True wealth is in your heart, in kindness, truth, and the ability to help others without expecting anything back. Tolu listened carefully, his eyes wide. Yes, sir. Mr. Thompson smiled. You remind me of my younger self, hungry to learn and willing to work hard. One day you will be a great man, Tolu. But promise me something. Yes, sir? Promise me that when life blesses you, you will also bless others. Tolu nodded firmly. I promise, sir. As time went on, Mr. Thompson noticed how smart the boy was. He could read and write better than most children his age. One day he asked, Do you go to school regularly? Tolu lowered his eyes. Not anymore, sir. My father couldn't pay the school fees after his accident. Mr. Thompson frowned softly. That won't happen again. The very next day, he enrolled Tolu in a good private school close to his estate. He paid for his books, uniforms, and even transportation. Every morning, the same car that once picked Tolu up for chores now took him to school. Tolu never forgot where he came from. After school, he still worked in the house, sweeping, watering plants, and helping Mrs. Grace. He sent half of his monthly allowance to his father for the shop's upkeep. At the market, things were changing too. Mr. Adewale's shop had grown again, bigger than before. His customers returned, and some even brought new friends. They said, This man sells honestly. You can trust him. Each time Mr. Thompson passed by, he would stop his car, step out, and greet Tolu's father warmly. How is business, my friend? He asked. Mr. Adewale would smile gratefully. Better, sir. May God bless you for helping my son and me. Mr. Thompson always replied, It was your son's courage that brought the blessing, not me. Years passed. Tolu finished secondary school with excellent grades. Mr. Thompson sponsored him to study business administration at a university in Lagos. The first day he walked through the university gates, wearing a clean shirt and holding his admission letter, tears filled his eyes. He remembered the smoky market, his father's wheelchair, and that first day when he ran through the streets crying for help. He whispered, Thank you, God. Thank you for answering my cry. At the university, Tolu studied hard. He never forgot the lessons he learned in Mr. Thompson's house. While other students partied, Tolu spent time in the library or helping friends understand difficult topics. He became known for his humility and wisdom. During his final year, something special happened. Mr. Thompson invited him to his office one Sunday afternoon. Tolu, he said, smiling proudly, you are no longer that little boy who cried for help in the rain. You are now a young man, ready to face the world. Tolu smiled shyly. Thank you, sir. I couldn't have come this far without you. Mr. Thompson shook his head. No. You came this far because you were faithful. I only opened the door. You walked through it. He handed Tolu a brown envelope. Inside were business documents and a check. "Sir, what is this?" Tolu asked in surprise. Mr. Thompson leaned back in his chair. "It's your startup fund. You told me long ago that you wanted to be a businessman like your father. Now you will begin. I have registered a small trading company in your name, Tolu and Sons Enterprises. I trust you'll make it grow." Tolu stared at him, speechless. Then tears filled his eyes. He dropped to his knees. "Sir, I don't deserve this. You've done too much already." Mr. Thompson stood and lifted him gently. "Get up, my boy. You deserve it. You earned it with your honesty and hard work. Your father raised you well, and you proved that faithfulness still has value in this world." When Tolu returned home that evening, he found his father sitting outside, enjoying the evening breeze. "Daddy," Tolu said softly, "I have something to show you." He handed him the brown envelope. His father opened it slowly, reading the documents with trembling hands. His eyes widened. "Tolu, this is your company." "Yes, Daddy," Tolu said, his voice shaking with joy. "Mr. Thompson gave me the opportunity. We will start together. You will be the chairman, and I will be the managing director." Mr. Adderwell covered his face with both hands and began to cry, not from sadness, but from gratitude. "My son," he said between tears, "you are the reason I never gave up. When I lost my legs, I thought life was over. But God gave me you. My legs, my hope, my pride." Tolu knelt beside him, hugging him tightly. "No, Daddy, you gave me strength. You taught me to never lie, never steal, and never stop trying. You are my hero." They held each other for a long moment as the sky turned golden. 5 years later, Tolu and Sons Enterprises became one of the most respected supply companies in Lagos. Tolu was no longer the little boy who swept floors. He was now a young businessman, known for his honesty and kindness. He built a bigger house for his father, one with wide doors so the wheelchair could move easily. He also opened a foundation called the Adewale Hope Fund to help families with disabled parents. Whenever reporters asked what inspired him, Tolu always smiled and said, "My father, and a man who listened to a little boy's cry for help." One Sunday afternoon, Tolu visited Mr. Thompson, who was now older, with a few grey hairs. They sat together on the balcony, sipping juice as the wind blew gently. "Sir," Tolu said quietly, "I kept my promise. I'm helping people now, just like you helped us." Mr. Thompson smiled, his eyes warm. "I knew you would. You were born to bring light where there is darkness." He leaned forward slightly. "Tell me, Tolu, what is your biggest dream now?" Tolu smiled softly. "To help more children like me find hope. To show them that one act of kindness can change a life forever." Mr. Thompson nodded proudly. "That is the heart of a true man." As they sat together watching the sunset, Tolu thought about how far he had come. From the dusty streets of Lagos, crying for help, to standing beside the man who had once answered that cry. He looked at the sky and whispered, "Thank you, God, for every storm that led me here." The wind carried his words away like a prayer, gentle and sure. Because once, long ago, a little boy had cried out for help to save his disabled father, and the world had answered. What is your view about this story? Where are you watching from? If you like the story, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel for more interesting stories.